Human beautiful. Yes. Human becoming. That too. Human being. Yes. Human beautiful. That too. There's also a chair over here, human beautiful. And there's cushions. Oh, so human beautiful. Welcome to Satsang. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so wonderful to have you here. So wonderful to have you here. So wonderful to have all of you here. So wonderful to have you here, beloveds. So wonderful to have all of you here. I love that we have this option to get familiar with our capacity to be, meet, welcome, allow every facet of who we are. Every facet of who we think we are. Every facet of who our mamas think we are, or our friends, or our children, or the world. Every facet of who we think we were, who we think we want to be, who we think we will be. This option to meet, allow, be space for, be an atmosphere of love for, be a nation of peace for. Every facet of ourselves. However we're appearing in this moment, all sensations included, all emotions included, all thoughts included, all ideas included, all perceptions of mind included. It's so tinkly and delicious. Of like, oh wow, I could be here for this moment. The next moment, who knows what appears? Who knows what commercial is seen? Who knows what TikTok is seen? Who knows what thought appears, what story appears? And then maybe we go back to this idea of all the things we need to fix, all the things we need to change, all the things we need to make better, all the things we need to heal, all the things we need to untangle, all the conditioning we need to get rid of, all the programming we need to get rid of, all the little hooks that are constantly staring at our beautiful, perfect spiritual pantyhose. But for this moment, to consider the option, like really allow yourself to rest completely. Allow yourself to be held by yourself. Held by yourself as couch and floor and backjack and oxygen and planet and spirit. How do we meet the energies that arise when we emphasize and allow ourselves to meet them from this ease of being that's here? We're very familiar how mind meets itself. So if we were to make a little distinction, we could say, just in the purpose of getting familiar with this aware stability, you know, let's say there's this dynamic energy of stillness, of silence, of being, this dynamic dancing energy of wholeness, of ease, of infinity, of the vastness, of Buddha nature, Christ consciousness, the absolute, the self, that, 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 this, this dynamic energy, the wondrous capacity to imagine, dream, and imagine and dreams arise from our wondrous capacity to describe. One description. We could say any description is the wondrous atmosphere of what we would say is mind. Any description, even a description about the absolute, even a description about awareness, even a description about consciousness, a description about self, body, place, world, a description about a guru, a description about a sensation, a samadhi, any kind of anything that appears new or that appears old, anything that has anything to do with identity, time, or cause and effect. Wondrous display. This wondrous display of mind, we innocently, or mind imagines itself to be something. That's why it loves time. In the present, so-called present moment, salute. There's no separate self here. So if I were to ask you, who are you? But you can't, the only way you can answer that question is by not touching one atom, syllable, letter from the past. Not one. You're not here. If you say a soul, that's the past. If you say an energy, that's the past. If you say a presence, that's the past. All of those wondrous concepts. This moment, too big to fit in any concept. Fresh, alive, raw, untamed, wild, free. You, the most intimate you. The beautiful, wondrous dream of a personality, of a separation, like nail clippings, compared to the fullness of who you truly are. Compared to the fullness, compared to the one that loves, the one that dances, the one that sings, the one that paints, the one that creates, the one that dreams, the one that embraces, the one that kisses. That is this moment, delighted in being itself. When we imagine ourselves to be the mirage, then there's all these things we have to do with the mirage. And then we had this idea, this mirage has these thoughts. This mirage can get disrupted or interrupted. This mirage has thoughts about success, has thoughts about failure, has thoughts about this mirage is working with sensations, this mirage. But for a moment, feel into the qualities of what holds the mirage, what allows this sweetness of this quantum foam to flourish. More simple than anything learned. Learning is amazing. Infinity loves learning infinitely, infinite ways to celebrate, delight, love itself. And this closer than any kind of loss or gain, just as is. I was so happy for this dream of a body in noticing, oh, oh, what do I get to do? And no matter what's appearing, be myself. And what is the self? And what does the self get to be? No matter what's experiencing, no matter what's appearing to appear. Love. It's like, oh, I get to love this, I get to love this, I get to love this, I get to love this. And not love like we need to have a feeling behind it. And then we're like, oh no, I don't love it because I don't have a feeling behind it. Oh no, I don't love it because I don't feel butterflies. Oh no, I don't love it because my eyes aren't a heart emoji. Oh, I don't love it, whatever the thought may be. I don't love it because, so. It doesn't, no. It's like you are this. So that's what's so sweet, closer than a feeling, right? And that's what we discover and get familiar with the sweet instruction, the pivotal instruction of allowing all to be as it is. Doesn't that sound so fucking simple and ridiculous? Allow all to be as it is. Allow all to be as it is. I hear myself saying, allow all to be as it is. Allow all to be as it is. It's like fucking ridiculous to some degree because, of course, everything already is as it is. But boy, do we not notice that everything is as it is. Boy, do we go into those places of, no, this can't be here because then I got to do this and that and that. And this needs to go away and this needs to change. And where's an ointment? There's got to be an ointment for this. A cosmic ointment, spiritual ointment. And thank goodness there's no motherfucking ointment. Thank goodness. Have you noticed the things that delivered the goods at one time lose their luster? If you're lucky, they lose their luster pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. But to take a moment to say, all right now, okay, from a space of curiosity, I am going to notice all the things that are present. And maybe even all the things that are present in the dream of other relationships. It's like we have all these chat boxes open. We have this energetic relationship with our children. We have this energetic relationship with our partners, with our gurus, with our teachers, with that person, with this thing, with if you live in a world of enemies, with that, this, and all. And it's like, and for this moment, allow them all to be as they are. Now, one thing needing to change. It's like every apparent phenomena, every bark, every itch, every sound, every discomfort, in this moment has a home. No orphans here. There is room experiences in this snuggle, cuddle, puddle, buddle, wuddle, subtle, buddle. There is room. There is space. And then the funny thing, as a consequence, there's a sensation in the body that is turned up, a volume, a warmth of what some may call love, ease, peace. Some may call the very things that we think are only ever going to happen as soon as we get rid of them bitches. As soon as we don't have these thoughts anymore, as soon as we're not wrestling with this particular thing anymore, as soon as our emotions are at bay, as soon as that cowlick is finally licked down, it's like then. But in a moment of considering, let all the freakiness be here. Let all the kinkiness be here. Let all the thoughts. And if my mama's thoughts are here too, let them be here too. And my great-great-granddaddy's thoughts are here, let them be here too. And then to let the world be here as it is. To let humanity be here as it is. Because that is all only happening inside of you. Your extended body, the whole cosmos. That fit so beautifully in the spacious vastness of your immediate suchness, of your immediate nature. I am willing for thoughts to appear. I'm willing for thoughts of discomfort to appear. They might happen again. I'm willing for thoughts about failure to appear, thoughts about success to appear. I'm willing for sensations to appear. Toe sensations, heart sensations, head sensations, knee sensations. I'm willing for life to be itself. What is present in that? When we're unwilling and we're resistant and we think we got to solve something and fix something, it's always breathing down our neck. Have you noticed? And we're already experiencing the very thing we don't want to experience. It's already happening in the resistance. In a moment of moving from fist consciousness, innocent fist, trying to control, trying to grab, trying to attach, afraid for things to be different, wanting everything to be different. And then in a moment, notice the fist. If you were to make a fist, it takes effort to hold together. A lot of times there's the innocent talk of, it's so hard to be at peace. It's so hard. You got to work so hard to be at ease. You got to work so hard to be silence. You got to work so hard to be stillness. You got to work so hard to be space, to be presence. You got to work so hard to be loving. You got to work so hard to be. But it's the opposite. It takes so much effort to be in a fist. To do palm, I don't go. It just stops, just relaxes. And it's like so present. I can do palm all day. I'm gonna just let this palm be like this all day. And we notice, oh wow, peace here. I don't have to do peace. No one has to do peace. Ramana's never done peace. Papaji never done peace. Nisargadatta's never done peace. Buddha's never done peace. Christ never has done peace. Whoever else we imagine is poignant peace. It's their nature. It's this moment. It's what is. Thank goodness peace isn't up to us. It's what is. I wrote a cutest little song. I was about 18 years old. And the chorus said, it's very that era. When you hear the melody, the chorus, it says something like, at first it seemed impossible. Peace was not around. And then it seemed... Wait. However the fucking lyrics. First it seemed impossible. Peace was not around. Then it seemed like it was possible. One day peace could be found. Then by the grace of peace itself, I've come to realize that peace resides in every heart, regardless of the skies. That peace resides in every heart, regardless, no matter the disguise or something like that. I can't remember the lyrics. I was really young when I wrote this. It's been a long time. But peace, it's like, oh, yay. And we get familiar with that. We make friends with that. We're having a conversation. Whatever that was. And and it's like, anyone want to share their experience when you just allow everything to be as it is? Body, mind, energy, vibration. Boy, do we get caught up in this idea, innocent idea, very effective idea as the story goes, and a dream of stages and locations and levels and evolution. The sense of vibration, and I got to change my vibration and keep my vibration up, and bad, low vibrations, high vibe only. Oh my goodness, so innocent. You know, just stirring the shit. Innocently overlooking what is free of even the dream, salud, even the dream of vibrations and energy. Or we can say a loving intelligence vibration that has no opposite, that is all inclusive, that welcomes all, that by its very nature, things cannot help but to reveal their self-releasing nature. How many thoughts have you had today that have come and gone? How many feelings have you had today that have come and gone? I kind of like to imagine us as when you look at an octopus in the water and how they change colors and textures so instantly. And, you know, imagine if we can see that in each other, you know, just always shifting. This thought appears and there's a whole other reaction. Then something appears and we have a story about it. Only ever responding to our story. We're not responding to something outside of us. We're responding to our story about it. And it's like, oh. But what doesn't change? What stays the same? What welcomes? What is so benevolent that allows all the dance to have a beginning, a middle, and an end? This is what we get familiar with in this invitation. It's like, oh yeah. And then to try to turn off awareness. Can you do it? Can't do it. It's still here. It's who you are. It's never been off. Awareness has never been off, has never been interrupted, has never been stained or tarnished, has never been influenced by conditioning, has never been influenced by programming. The biggest story never touched the biggest discomfort, awareness, still here, free. You, and everyone you've ever known, awareness. Bigger than the thought of mom, awareness. Bigger than the thought of dad, awareness. Bigger than the thought of ancestors, awareness. Consciousness, aliveness. That which animates faces to smiles and eyes to tears and bodies to dance. Oh, I thought you were this. Oh, just awareness. Oh, I thought this was this. Oh, just awareness. Oh, I thought this was this. Oh, just this. So sweet to consider. What a welcome, indeed. We know the word welcome, but to discover yourself, your very nature, as welcome, the ultimate, supreme burrito welcome. Ay, Dios mío, qué rico. Chimichanga. Welcome. Welcome. And then to notice ourselves as the chair as welcome, as the floor as welcome, as the walls as welcome, the oxygen in the atmosphere as welcome. So sweet. It's like awake, aware, really, just like this. And it's everyday awareness. I know there could be a sense of like there's a jacuzzi of love or ease or being, and that's sweet. But this is everyday awareness. This is, you're in the grocery store, you're at this other store. You're where else do people go? You're at the river, you're taking a walk, you're on a bike. It's just everyday, ordinary radiance. Ordinary. Sublime being, just like this. Purity, undiluted purity of this that alone is, just like this. Just like this. And then my favorite word appears. Available. Available. Willingness. Vigilance. Ordinary availability. It's totally okay if mind is caught up in mind. For a moment, consider that who you are as awareness has never once been caught up in mind. Never once been seduced into believing a thought. Never once has been accepted the temptation. Mind will get caught up in mind. It's supposed to. That's its nature. How precious. Believing the thoughts. And in that, indulging, avoiding, and replacing. Mind indulges in itself. Mind avoids itself. Mind attempts to replace itself. Mind rolls its eyes at itself. Mind, it's like, find a plant in here. There's plenty, so take your pick. Find a plant. It's so doing its job. Are you arguing with the plants? You should be. It's like it's so doing its job. For a moment, give mind permission, maybe a silent, all right, mind, you are so free to be yourself. Because you, as awareness, has never had a problem with mind. Just as you, as the sky, has never had a problem with the weather. I remember many years ago, I was at the School for the Work with Byron Katie at one of the events. And someone was like, Katie, are we awareness? Oh, Katie, they said, Katie, you mentioned mind, mind, mind. Is mind all there is? And Katie was like, well, awareness is aware of nothing else but mind. Until it's not. You know, it's like there's that inseparability. Mind, the dynamic energy of awareness, still just awareness, still just love. There's only one ingredient in the cosmos, is another way of putting it. Or I like to, with our modern screens. Anyone in here have a screen? How many images have appeared on your screen today? Or since you've had screens? Whether they be televisions or computer screens or smartphone screens, tablet screens. All these images. And yet it's only ever been the screen. Even as you flick and flick and flick and flick and move and swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe and match and swipe and match and swipe and match and swipe and match and swipe. Even as all those things, it's still just a screen. It's so sweet. And we've done such a good job at being infinity. Perfectly so. It's so funny to hear, right? But it's like, oh, as infinite absolute everything, you've done such a good job at being that. And your whole life is evidence of that. Your whole mind is evidence of that. Look at you being yourself so well. Thoughts present, yay. Feelings present, yay. Sensations present, yay. Images present, yay. Sensory perception present, yay. Awareness present, yay. Yay, it's like all here. And what's so sweet is like we move from, I can't remember who it was that worded it this way, but I thought it was really simple and sweet. You know, we move from the sweetness, nothing wrong with it, seeker energy. What an adventure. Anyone ever experienced seeker energy before? Seeker energy. What about sneaker energy? Seeker. And what are some of the things that we're seeking? Anyone want to share? Popcorn. Swan seeking popcorn. Yeah. What are some of the things we seek? We seek ease, peace, what a community, fun. Sorry? Love. We seek love, purpose. And then what does purpose going to bring us? Satisfaction. And then what does satisfaction bring? Let's say we're satisfied. What does that reveal? Fullness. Yeah, fullness. And then community. What does community bring? Love, joy, connection, acceptance. Yeah. Sorry? Belonging. And so acceptance and belonging, what does that bring? When you feel like you belong and you're accepted, peace, peace, relaxation. And then when we're relaxed, we're at peace. All of it supports us finally. That's why I love the word permission slips. They are permission slips for this peace that you are to finally just rest in itself. And maybe notice, oh, always been here. This love has always been here. This peace is who I am. This love is who I am. Who I've always been. Who I'll always be. And so we move from this seeker, wonderful, adventurous, horrifying, terrible, depressing, all those things, wondrous. And then it's like we get familiar with the option to not be at war with ourselves or with the moment. And we're so open and available, we start getting familiar with, oh, this awareness has always been here. And then the word, quote unquote, finder comes into play. And it's like, oh, wow, there's this. All that energy that I use to try to get something, I don't need to use to it. It's already here. What am I going to use that energy up for? Why am I going to be caught up in strategies of protection or strategies of defense? Why am I going to be caught up in trying to get my mind to shape it into something, or try to get my emotions and iron them out, or send them one by one to finishing school, or I'm going to get my body and have it be perfectly exactly in the picture of health that I think it should be, or that Boulder thinks it should be in. And it's like, oh wow. Not to say that it's like still ordinary. What's the saying? Chop wood, carry water before enlightenment. Chop wood, carry water after enlightenment. You know, it's like you're so available. And then I love how Byron Katie puts it. You're either doing something in peace or doing something in stress. And it's just good to notice. And when we discover that we are fulfillment, it's like life gets to move through in celebration of that fulfillment. When we discover we are peace, life gets to be a celebration of that peace. Sentences I started hearing myself say were things like, how else is infinite abundance going to love itself today? How else is peace going to delight in itself today? How else? Not that I needed anything else, but it was like, that's all that's here. And everything that appears is evidence of that. So it's like, I like to use the analogy of the shadow. And can you find a shadow in the room somewhere? Behind. You see? Your hand. My hand, shadow. So one way of looking at shadow is that it's the shadowlands. It's where the sun doesn't shine. It's the opposite. Another way of looking at shadows is that they are the sweetest, clearest evidence of light. There's no shadow here without light. And then it's possible to start noticing the way aware fullness, your own being, experiences mind as, a choir of exaltation, evidence of awareness. When I meet with beloveds and we have a session and beloveds are having their experience and are in their believe they're in their experience, they're totally, there's an allegiance to the story, to separation, to and all the characters and all the events and all the circumstances and all the situations and the oppressors and the oppressed and the victims and the perpetrators and of course meet the beloved as they are, where they are. But also all I hear them say is, I'm free and aware. Look how free and aware I am. They're telling a story. The only way they can tell a story is because they're aware. Have you noticed that? The only way you can tell a story, the only way you can speak about what happened to you is due to the power of awareness, due to the power of consciousness. And so it's really sweet. I don't have to tell them I know who you truly are. Maybe that'll come up in the next conversation. Or maybe it comes up in the first conversation. But in that space, it's like no part of anyone has to make anyone whole or make anyone awake or make anyone free. It's like already the case. Hallelujah. Not my job. It was never Ramana's job. It was never Papa's, never Nisargadatta's job. Never this one's job, that one's job. It's so clear. Oh yeah. So free you are. And so free your mind is. And so free your body is. And so free the cells. And so free the sensations. And so free the couch. And so free the floor. And so free the planet. Sofrito, sofrito, sofrito. So free. So free the universe. So in that finder space, it's like you're available. All that energy that went to attempting to fix your mind and fix your body and fix your emotions and fix whether if you show up psychologically right in this setting or therapeutically sound in that setting. Not to say that none of that doesn't have its place. Therapy has its place. All that learning has its place. Totally has its place. But that's not what this is, not what satsang is. In this moment, we notice, get familiar with what's already whole about us. So available to what? Available for this life that loves to live itself, It's kind of like how they've been talking about throughout the ages about stepping out of one's way. You notice, oh wow, I've never been in my way. That was just a mirage. Seemed real. But as I look with my sunshine eyes, mist doesn't even need to evaporate. Not even there to evaporate. Awareness, consciousness, your true nature. Everyday, ordinary. Human being, yes. Human becoming, that too, but mostly human beautiful. It's going to be really sweet as we continue in the dream of evolution. We have all these attributes of what make a human a human. And it's going to be very soon where we're going to recognize our right, everyone's right, to know themselves as freedom. And that's always been just as human as everything else. It's like you have a nose, yep, you have a nose, and your infinite vast intelligence. So like the sweet dream, the beautiful golden dreams of the mystical versions of enlightenment, awareness, all that is everyday, ordinary, relaxed, equally distributed wisdom, equally distributed awareness, everyone the self, everyone the guru, everyone the student, everyone the teacher. So lovable, so innocent. Oh, the innocence. of believing a thought that isn't true. The innocence of imagining yourself to be separate, so therefore you imagine others to be separate. So innocent. The innocence of projection. The innocence of imagine your infinite brilliance existing as someone else. So innocent. So now I'm just talking. Anyone else like to share something? Or have a question regarding something, or explore something, whether online or you have my phone number, you can text me. Let's see.
There must be a bridge between where you live and we live.
Yay!
That's, I mean, how does that bridge work?
I know, it's so fun. Well, maybe there isn't a bridge, you know? So it's like how wonderful the thoughts that are here. You know, it's like we're so used to experiencing the moment through our thoughts and our story. And it's like this, even the story that maybe we're not totally emphasizing of like, I'm on a planet, is one running in the background, or the story I've incarnated into a realm could be one that's running in the background, or the story of a me and a you, and for a moment to maybe notice what's not been told that's still here. What is too free and slippery to fit in any word or any identity or any attributes or any qualities?
Well, it feels like awareness is necessary.
Awareness. Tell me more. Oh.
I mean, if I let myself stay in your field, I
Uh
mean,
huh.
I can slip, I can take the elevator or the bridge to get there. But if you leave me alone, my thoughts don't tend to be as elevated and as aware. They're kind of mundane. I can't sustain. I mean, I'm learning to sustain that
Right.
state of.
So this is so good because has anyone else here had the thought, I want to learn to sustain this awareness or this peace?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone ever had that? So for a moment, don't sustain nothing. Don't maintain nothing. No paper clips, no tape. And then this is, it's like just as we were trained to think we're someone, how long did it take to get trained to think you're someone? I mean, goodness, all the little books, the ABC books, and all the that's a tree, and that's a that, and that's a this, and this is your culture, and this is your gender, and the innocent indoctrination into the trance of separation. It took years. It's a long training. And so it's so okay that there be a little bit of a training to get familiar with this. And you know, where we get familiar with, oh yeah. So this awareness, there may be a sensation present with it, but it includes every sensation. And if you're aware of anything at all, even if you're aware of I'm not aware, that's awareness. And it's awareness as immediate perception. What usually happens is we'll have a sensation appear and we're like, "Oh, this feels low frequency or this feels limited or this feels Oh, I just kicked the camera. This feels like I just kicked the camera. This feels, this feels like what? This feels, we know them. This feels limiting. This feels tight. This feels contracted. And then there's the other thought around that. I need to do something about this. I need to relax the contraction. I need to meditate. I need to go. So we don't know how to immediately be like, this is, oh, hi, contraction. You're so welcome. Oh, hi, thoughts about this or thoughts about, oh, hi, scarcity. Oh, you want to just lay right here in my bosom. Perfect. You're so welcome. Oh, hi, anger, high rage, high depression, high despair, high jealousy, high, uh, what are the other ones? My bones hurt. High, high bone spurs. High, whatever. It's like to just for a moment welcome it. That's a way of extracting the nutrients. That's the way of recognizing the energetic kale of all the apparent lower things, or all the apparent stressful things, or all the apparent constricted things, and allowing them to be as it is. We're not meeting them with mind. Mind wants to indulge in them. So we'll tell the story about them. Oh, I feel depressed because my mother was depressed, or because, and I'm going to be depressed. Oh, this is probably how it's going to be for the next 40 years, or the next 10 years, or the next week, or, and then want to replace it. I'm going to replace this with feeling positive, and I'm going to write the best affirmations down, and I'm just going to just smile everywhere I go. I'm just going to smile in the mirror, nothing's wrong with any of these strategies. They've had their place in the evolution of our species. It's so okay to do them again, even as you know yourself as infinite awareness. Have a moment of just like, whatever. This is not that they're bad, but we're recognizing that we have other options here. And that option, as I said earlier, that sounds so ridiculous, but is so powerful in getting familiar with who you are and loving yourself, or knowing that you already love yourself, is allowing. So it's like, I'm just really going to allow this to be here. Could y'all say, I'm just really going to allow this to be here? Let me hear it. Oh, I'm going to allow this too. This thought, right now, I'm just going to allow it to be here. This, yeah, this feeling, I'm just going to allow it to be here. It's like, it's not in our language. We don't hear this on TV. We don't hear this on, it's not something we see. We don't see, the big rom-coms where they're like, oh, wait, before I act out of my false evidence appearing real, before I act out of my fear, before my word and my deed are informed by my inability to meet my discomfort, before I displace my discomfort, I'm gonna take responsibility for my own experience. I'm gonna stop. Yes, even in this moment, this really profound moment, I'm gonna stop. And I'm going to meet whatever's here and welcome it. I'm going to open to it. We don't hear this. This is not something that we hear, but it's so ordinary, and it's yours. It's your right to know. You as infinity, you as love itself, you have the right to know the option that you can be yourself in every moment. That you are a safe space for the appearance of body. That you are the safe space for the appearance of mind, of thoughts. That you are the safe space for the appearance of sensations.
So can you relate this to the idea of data?
Yay! Yeah, data's so good. Yeah, especially for certain kind of minds. A lot of Virgos and Capricorns love the word data. So fun. So we can, instead of saying mind, we can say data or data, however you like to say it. And these pockets of information, dynamic energy that are empty of an independent nature. That's the thing with all apparent things. When we look closely, it doesn't have an individual nature, inseparable from the whole. Appears to have an individual nature. That's part of the mirage, part of the dream, part of the data. And only data supports data. Mind gives evidence to mind. When I'm doing the work with beloveds, because I love the work with Byron Katie. If you haven't explored it, test it out, check it out. And we're exploring a thought that feels really stressful. Anyone here have a thought that feels stressful? Yeah. Can you pass the mic? Because this is all our thought.
Yeah, I can come over to the mic. I was working with someone today on a book, and they just reflected back that I'm such a disappointment to them. So I left feeling like, why am I always disappointing people?
Oh, can anyone else relate? In any kind of way that you've disappointed someone before, or that you've...
And that's so unbearable to me.
It's so unbearable.
To be a disappointment.
Right. So you were a disappointment to them. Is that true?
Yeah.
Awesome. So notice even when someone says your name, holds up your license, tells you your social security number, so it's so interesting.
And I lose all sense of safety in that.
Right. We're going to get to that.
Oh, sorry.
So the second question,
Yeah.
can you absolutely know that it's true with 100% certainty that you disappointed them?
No.
Sorry?
No.
No. Okay, well, that's a whole other planet. Planet no is a whole other world. How do you react when you believe the thought, I disappointed them?
Ugh. I just want to shoot myself.
Yeah. How does your body feel when you believe that thought?
Just really hot and sad and
Yeah.
triggered. And
Yeah. How do you see them when you believe the thought?
I just sort of in an avoidant, like, when are you leaving kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how real are you as a separate self when you believe the thought that you disappointed them?
I'm sorry?
How real are you? How real do you feel as a separate self when you believe the thought that you disappoint?
Very contracted.
It's very contracted,
Yeah.
right? How real does time feel when you believe the thought?
Contracted.
Contracted,
Held.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about cause and effect when you believe the thought?
Very real.
Very real, yeah. Just sweet to notice.
Yeah.
What does the ego get? What's the payoff for a sense of separation to believe the thought you disappointed them?
Maybe a little control.
A little control, right? Yeah. The ego's favorite food, favorite fuel. Yeah. Does it bring peace or stress to believe the thought?
So much stress.
So much stress, yeah. And who would you be in your moment, in this moment, without experiencing the moment through the screen, through the lens, through the thought, I disappointed them?
I think I would just have to experience disappointment.
Maybe.
Well,
and feel into it. Who would you be without the thought that you disappointed them?
I don't know.
I don't know, right? It's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the and I love the turnarounds doing the work, because then we can really welcome different parts of the intellect, different parts of the mind, which is all emphasizing awareness. The work, all it does is turn up the volume of awareness, because we're bringing something we thought was real and scary into the high-powered, loving microscope of honesty and awareness. And so what's the turnaround of I disappointed them?
They disappointed me.
Maybe they disappointed you. Give me an example of how they may have disappointed you.
I put my heart into the book, and they just responded with anger, and they didn't see my love. And
Right.
and
Right, yeah. And what's another turnaround? They disappointed me.
I disappointed them.
Well, that was the original concept. You
Oh.
disappointed them.
They disappointed me. What's another turnaround?
Another turnaround.
Hmm.
So one that's coming to me is maybe you did not disappoint them.
I didn't disappoint them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
I
me an
have a hard
example
time
of
with
how
that one.
maybe you didn't disappoint them, even if they told you that you disappointed them.
How I didn't disappoint them?
Yeah.
I mean, I just spent hours on this project for free and delivered, and
Right. So those are the things, but feeling into it in the moment, how maybe you didn't, in that moment, that you didn't disappoint them. What are they reacting to when they look at you?
their expectations.
Expectations, maybe.
Yeah.
But for a moment, take a look around and get really honest. Are you seeing the beloved before you? Or are you seeing your own story, your own version of the beloved before you? And how does that have anything to do with them? Just a point of reflection.
No, I just need you to say it again because I'm kind of spacing. So
Yeah. So, I love that everyone has their own experience.
Mhm.
Everyone is so free to have their own experience.
Right.
And I trust that they most certainly will have their own experience.
Yeah.
No matter how one shows up, no matter how
The
well
intention.
prepared, how
Mm.
well intended, no matter how loving, no matter how brilliant, no matter how, people are still going to, who knows what world of unquestioned worlds are there, and they're still only seeing themselves.
Mm.
They see their own thing. You make a little face, or you touch your nose this way,
Yeah.
and they'll have a whole story about it. And and it's okay. It's like, again, how lovely that everyone is so free.
Mm.
But it's interesting in that curiosity, they were disappointed in me.
Mm.
Maybe it wasn't true that they were disappointed in me. Maybe they were disappointed in their own thought about me.
Mm.
Maybe they were disappointed in their own expectations that they had about what something should be or how something should sound.
Yeah.
And it's just this. It just allows for a new possibility. And it's kind of like, if you didn't believe the thought, and they'd said that they're disappointed in you, it's like maybe you don't go home, and you're in that space. But then there's another turnaround. I disappointed me.
Yeah.
And then we just move into little honest spaces. It's kind of like no part of the fridge is left unexplored or uncleaned, unwiped.
Are there places where there's more capacity for that and less capacity for that?
For the work?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's so beautiful about the work and how simple as it is, if the thought is pleasant and working for you, the story is pleasant and working for you, wonderful.
Yeah.
There's nothing else here but your story. Nothing else here but your story. And that is a flash. That story will be gone. Already gone at its inception. only here. What planet are you on but your story? What relationships are you in but your story? What foods do you like but it's all story. So if the story's stressful, then you can question it. You know, as an option. You know, it's kind of like what I love about the invitation of the work and allowing for things to be as they are is that we start discovering that suffering isn't such a mystery. We start discovering that that we can map it and track it. Skillful means, as mentioned in Buddhist practices, and skillful means is not about the skill to become awareness. Skillful means is only in the recognition of how we don't notice we're awareness. Skillful means is not about becoming more loving. Skillful means is about discovering how it is we're not being the love we are. You're already love, you're already kindness, you're already at ease. We get really skilled at noticing how we don't notice it. And then it's like, oh, I'm believing a thought that isn't true. Oh, I'm emphasizing identity. The three pillars of separation are identity, time, and cause and effect. If any of those are present, we're innocently just overlooking that we're sitting on our lap, that we're already sitting in the lap of consciousness of our own self, that all is well, that it's okay. Yeah. And then it's like I'm willing to overlook. I look forward to overlooking. Because then we turn overlooking into a big thing. And it's not. I'm willing to overlook. It's like, let overlooking happen. Yeah. Skillful means. Yeah. Yeah. What's your experience, Lev? Yeah. You don't know. Yeah. Yeah. It can be a little overwhelming. Yeah. And there's space here for that. For all of that. Yeah. There is space here for that. Because then another thought can appear. And then another thought can appear. And it's okay. Anyone else want to share something or explore something? Yes.
When you asked about the seekers, and I think one of you said purpose, and you did with everything like that. What would it give you? And at the end, it's not nulling each other out, but it's showing. It brings you where it began, so to speak. But I mean, how do you then? You do satsang.
I love it. Yes.
Right, and that will be also part of the game in a way.
Oh my God! And look at my socks. Look at my pants.
But isn't it? No, not that part. The part that it's nice to gather people around truth and celebrate it.
I love it. Yes.
Right. So, I mean, isn't purpose in that sense a good thing?
Oh, well, no one said purpose was a bad thing.
No, but not a bad thing, but superfluous. It all leads. You just showed how everything leads just to. You ask what would lead you to, and what will. And at the end,
one thing that's really interesting though is that there's purpose through the mind, and through stress, and purpose through peace. Again, only two ways to do anything. One is in peace, and one is in stress. And so it's really interesting. Purpose through stress, we know what that looks like. What is purpose through stress? There's identity present fully. There's time present fully. Cause and effect present fully. And then it's always this mystery. It's like this Rubik's cube, but all the stickers were misplaced or not or put in the wrong parts, and we're trying to solve this thing. And all it's doing is indulging, avoiding, replacing, indulging, avoiding, replacing, suffer, 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 mind, thought. Um, it's mind. It's experiencing purpose through mind. Purpose from this openness. Oh my God, there's so much room. There's so much space. There's so much permission. There's so much available energy. There's a celebration because it's so clear that there's purpose in the dream. So, then there's now, it's like the success of this moment. Get familiar with it. If you haven't gotten familiar with the success of the moment, beloveds, this this moment can't be any more itself than it already is. And it is okay to have a space of curiosity for purpose and to acknowledge that you are fully aligned with purpose. So for example, my purpose in this moment is to sit here as I sit, just as my feet are, however the weight distribution is, and to maybe notice that and to shift it. This breath, this conversation, these words that I'm hearing fall off the cliff into infinite silence. Every word never makes it. Every word falls off the cliff. Every word falls off the cliff. Every word doesn't make it. Silence wins. Silence wins. Only silence here. Silence speaking. Silence dreaming. Silence here is itself. From the socks matching, your socks matching. It's like, oh, this purpose. And then it's like we're available and curious. When purpose is in our mind, then purpose falls into survival and well-being and money and what we're gonna do. And it's like it's like a choke. It's like a but that's the thing. Everything through mind is that, not just purpose. Everything. That's mind with mind. Mind with mind. Mind's job is to be in terror. Mind's job is to constantly attempt to justify what it already knows to not be true, that it doesn't exist. Always wants to justify that it exists. Always, I'm real, damn it. Time is real, damn it. This is real, damn it. And that's real, and that's proof, and that's proof. And then it's like, where do you go for the evidence? The only place mind goes for evidence is its own self. Data. Yeah. What else is coming? What else? Give it. Let's see.
I'm resonating very much with what you create. Just, I don't believe that we're all meant, even if we understand this we're not meant to be a Ramana or a Buddha and just sitting. That eventually, if we would get it, like if we really would get it, then we only sit. That's the point.
This is really sweet.
No, let me take one. Can you make the bridge from?
Yay, bridges!
From not seeing that we all need to be Ramanas and Buddhas.
Thank goodness.
Right. That's what I mean to all what we said prior.
Right. So one thing that I love about Available is that who knows how this life is going to use you? Who knows how this intelligence is going to use your intellect, use your hands? And that who knows is a discovery moment to moment. There are little breadcrumbs that we give ourselves, such as what gives you excitement, such as what is resonating, what are you wagging your tail at, What are you noticing that you're just going back to and going back to again? Or what breaks your heart? You know, if you want to show up in service to the world, follow the heartbreak. We have these little breadcrumbs that support. And of course, you know, even Ramana wasn't Ramana. Even Buddha wasn't the Buddha. Um, and and the flavor of this multiplicity of infinite oneness of inseparability, we could say. That's why I love the word available. I've never been more my motherfucking self till the moment I realized that there was no motherfucking self. How hilarious is that? The authenticity that is here. I'm so available for to say what I say. I'm so available to sing what I sing, for the notes to come, for the there's no thought in my mind saying, "Oh no, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't be again." And that's innocent. If we are in those places, that's innocent. It's we know what that is. But the option to, okay, if you know, I'm here. And then in the dream of that, the expression of that, authentic, 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 authentic. What are the things you fall in love with the beloveds about? Their authenticity, their honesty, their vulnerability. Oh my goodness, that's one of the things that I love about being in ceremony, ayahuasca being such a huge permission slip for all these strangers to walk in one day on a Friday and be like, oh, okay, I'll be over here. All right, and then by Sunday, everyone's in tears with everyone sharing. Everyone's like, oh my God, I fucking love you. I love you. Oh my God. And that's what's so beautiful about it. It's all about the authenticity. It's all about showing up the way you say it, not the way Ramana says it, the way you dance it, not the way Janet Jackson dances it, the way you sing it, not the way Beyonce sings it, the way you is the way you. Oh, and then there's a whole. Oh my God, this whole world that's here. There are beloveds on this planet that the only way they'll ever hear anything is by the way you say it, is by the way you sing it, is by the way you walk it, is by the way you reach for that doorknob, is by the way you write it, is by the way. It's like we're medicine for each other, medicine for each other, medicine. And your way of doing it, the most precious in all infinity. Your way of doing it, the most precious way of doing it in all infinity. Yeah. Was there something more to that?
I'm having that's totally different. I'm having a real challenge with motherfuck. With that word.
Oh, with that
Yeah,
word.
you use it a lot nowadays. I always stumble over it. Can you
Yeah.
help me with that?
Oh, that's so good. So good. Well, as a 47-year-old man, I'm sorry. And I hear that. And I'm sorry. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I honor you and I see you. And I honor what I know about you as a teacher. And I so hear that. And a part of me blushes, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And yeah, so that there. And the other part is and the other. And so, yeah, I've been told this before by certain beloveds, and I so hear that. And then there's the other thing of like authenticity, and it's like these sometimes, you know, when something wants to come through in a certain way, those words come up. So they might come up sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of part of the trend of the language or the and my upbringing and yeah. Maybe you'll sound better in Spanish.
No, the picture of it is not nice in either language.
I so hear that. Yay. And you're so free to keep that. Some beloveds, and I worked with a lot of beloveds who wanted to relax their tightness around that because but it's a preference thing. You never have to relax your stuff around that. you know? So fun. And then, yes. No, go.
I never want to come.
Well, there's also no. It was just there's also all the different versions of a word, right? So I'll say something, and to me it means something. To you, you hear something, and there's infinite versions of the word, which is not making it right. But as an Ash to a Claudia, I'm sorry, and I love you.
Love you less.
I know, I know, I know. Thank you. What did you want to share?
Well, what a beautiful way to model like the reality of. I mean, this
Yeah.
isn't just responding to that
Yeah.
that happened. I thought that touched me. That there was an authentic. I don't know. Apology is not the quite word.
Yeah.
It wasn't apology. It was a
Yeah.
beautiful bowing to the other's preference
Yay.
or experience, and I
Mhm.
thought that was cool because you could invite that little thing away.
So good. Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
No, I wanted to say just because it's niggling a little bit in my mind is that work you did with
Susan.
Susan, and you talked about the turnaround, and I've been loving the work too these days because
Right.
it gives me some space, and so
Space. It reveals space. Yes.
so there was the turnaround. So her thing was disappointment. So her thing was you disappointed me, and then you brought in a couple of other turnarounds.
Right. I disappointed
disappointed.
me.
Yeah, and that
I did
final
not
one,
disappoint them.
I
Mhm.
disappointed me, and
They're disappointing themselves.
yeah,
Mhm.
or I'm disappointed in them.
I'm disappointed in them. Yeah.
But the one that I disappointed me was interesting because I'm just my own word right now would be fail.
Right.
So I failed me, and I'm just wondering if what that means to me is
Yeah.
that I failed myself by even subscribing to the idea of failure. That's the failure.
Right.
But is that how you would articulate that, or
Well,
what does it mean to I disappoint myself? I disappointed myself. I failed myself in this.
right. What's one of the things that they all have in common?
I disappoint or I failed.
Yeah, so it's like a I myself sandwich.
Yeah.
And it's an I myself sandwich. And whenever there's an I myself sandwich, it's just always going to be sadness. Always going to be disappointment. Always going to be failure. Always going to be nothing wrong with it. Again, that's mind meeting itself. But for a moment, feel into a sense of I'm willing to forever be disappointed in myself. Or I'm willing for the sense of failure to never go away. What if failure was so welcomed? What's the sense of it there? And can you feel failure in your body right now? And energy?
Well, when you welcome failure, that shifts the failure.
It's so amazing. When you
so-
welcome failure, that shifts the failure.
So when
And
you
now
say-
that's something that we could hear and that we've heard in our but then there's another thing to like really directly experience it. Right?
But to feel it as something that's ever present, omnipresent, it almost becomes like exhale or shadow or night so I don't know. It's an interesting question. What is the experience of it being always present? Because it can't always be present.
Well, let's welcome it here forever together. Yeah.
It's fun.
It's fine. Well, that's what
A
the
little bit of
interesting thing.
failure.
It goes from a T-Rex to a Chihuahua. You know,
To know thing itself.
What?
To know thing itself.
to know thing itself. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's like, how does the ego perceive failure? Okay, I'm familiar with that. Let me get a little curious, being that I am infinite awareness too. How does awareness, or another way to play around with it is, how does the person experience weather? Oh yes, looking for that umbrella, running for shelter, creating shelter. Oh no, we gotta fly out of here. The hurricane's coming, the tsunami's coming. Yeah. How does the sky experience weather? How does the vast open sky experience a cloud? Experience a hurricane? It's like, oh, you're so welcome. It's so clear. The sky, oh my God, it's timeless. Just as you are timelessly free. I'm so willing for feelings to show up. I'm so willing to notice the self-releasing nature. When we allow, we also get very clear at the self-releasing nature of phenomena, self-releasing nature of mind, self-releasing nature of feeling, while simultaneously acquiring or gaining or turning up the volume of the education and the solid stability of peace, solid stability of awareness. And then we just move and shift our emphasis from description consciousness to open consciousness. Mm-hmm.
Consciousness, the me, myself sandwich?
Yes.
Is me, myself sandwich the illusion of like a kind of another way to say self-absorption?
It's a sloppy Joe.
But it means just perspective, that sort of Mobius link of perspective always is a contracted perspective. Me, myself sandwich is...
The me, myself sandwich is always going to attempt to perpetuate what's not. And that's painful.
So it's one of your 3 pillars of separation. Me, myself, and I.
Me, myself, and I. Oh, it's just me, myself, and I. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Tell me, mirror, what is... It's just me, myself, and I. Yeah. And then we're so skilled at noticing. Oh, thoughts here. Mind's here, presence here, wonderful. And what else is here? Now, I say hi mind, but simultaneously you're also saying hi awareness. Mm-hmm. When you say hi body, you're also saying hi awareness. When you say hi emotions, you're also saying hi awareness, hi freedom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was that helpful? Lovely. Right? You're like, wait a second, what did he say? It's so good. Hi, thought. Hi, thought. Something clicked. Yay. Something happened. Yeah.
That story really touched me, and it was the representation of the human dimension being so hurt and really being impacted, and then the no I and being freed to not, and how to make that bridge from when it occurs in the moment. And there's no way to find that access until it becomes a practice muscle. And what I hear the invitation from you is, it's very liberating, but scary to think that I've always known this, that I don't really have a very good ego.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cute and all that. I got the little package. But the truth is, I don't identify with her. Like
Yeah.
that, and it's always scared me in my lifetime. Like
Right.
at any moment you could take everything. I mean, I don't like to say it out loud. I'm afraid to even say it. But
I know,
if you
it's like a
took my car and you
superstition.
took my house and you took my, I would go crazy. It just happened with my computer. I lost
Right.
everything that I'd written for 5 years is gone. Where there's a chance today we might have found a way. But it's been almost 2 weeks of, and I
Yeah.
cried and cried. I was like, at the impact of it, I couldn't fucking find this stupid thing.
Right.
And I wailed and wailed and wailed. And
Right.
then I realized one moment happened and I went, oh, I guess I just let go. But the transition between impact
Right.
and the toxicity and the human
Right.
nature and the pus and the like, there's no way. But
Right.
so I felt for you because I thought, no, if I was her, I'm not ready to do the spiritual shit right now. You just got home. I mean, that's just that impact of that sentence that someone's disappointed in me professionally, and I may even agree with them. I don't even want to talk about. I'm going to kill myself. I mean, that's my so the bridge between where you are and then where you are, and the practice of daily to just keep reminding
Right.
myself like, okay, so I'm going to do my best to live where you live, which I'm getting good at. But I cannot diminish the impact of when the computer.
Right. Well, this is not about diminishing that at all.
It gets confusing because you look so happy all the time.
So yeah, there's so much. I love that you brought that up. Really beautiful. And again, just so there's not confusion here, it's really about being more human and allowing all those emotions, allowing yourselves to cry all day if we need to, allowing ourselves to have all the feelings, and to ask for help or not ask for help, to be vulnerable, to not be vulnerable. It's like there's such permission for us to be completely messy and broken, and for us to be hurt by each other, and to us to be hurt by the smallest things. It's all of that is so welcome, and it's all part of this vastness. It's all part of the divinity. All that is divine too. All that is freedom too. What I love about freedom is not about an idea of freedom. It's freedom as this moment. So I know in my space, I'm so willing to be completely knocked down, and so willing to be totally hurt and to be totally disappointed. And I'm hurt. It's like there's a simultaneous joy and freedom and a simultaneous heartbreak. It's so heartbreaking to see what we're doing to each other. It's so heartbreaking to see what we're doing to the planet. It's so heartbreaking to see what we're doing to animals and to children. It's so heartbreaking to see what we're doing to ourselves. It's so heartbreaking. And there's a willingness to just cry forever in that. And that's also part of love. That's also love. Maybe a little wet love, liquid love. Yeah, love muffin. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're in that place of despair or disappointment,
Yes.
and deep in the sorrow of it,
Right.
what is you can't stay out of mind, because it is a mind that's giving you that, sense of disappointment, judgment, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So the only, I don't want to say escape, because you would never use that word, the only freedom is to have the awareness that is mind that's making you feel those feelings. That is and to do the reframe that you talked about. But what else? I mean, when you're in that place, what is the bridge, and how do you not judge even being in that place?
Well, it's so interesting, right? Because there's so many different locations to this, so many different facets of this. So it's all about us being honest with ourselves. Sometimes we feel way too hurt to, as Deborah calls it, the spiritual. Sometimes it's way too painful to move into those inquiries or into those, and we just want to hug, we just want to cry, we just want to, you know, just be down. And, you know, when we try to be more spiritual than we are, it's an act of violence, innocent, totally innocent. Again, not saying that it's wrong. As freedom, we're free to have all the experience. We want all the experiences, it's all here. In my poem, when I say we've all been there, I really mean it. We've all been there. And we may frequent those distortors again and again, those distorted corridors again and again. Hold hands a bit tighter, hold time a bit lighter, and breathe easy. That even in the unimaginable hurt of an empty seat and an empty bed and an empty feeling in your chest, fullness dances to the tune of joy befriending death. And all is well. As we grieve, all is well. As we cry, all is well. With unanswered questions, all is well. In never picking up the pieces, all is well. Human being, yes. Human becoming, that too. But mostly human beautiful. Human dreaming, yes. Human awakening, that too. But mostly human beautiful. Mostly human beautiful. Yeah. And it's up to our honesty. We may be like, oh wow, there's enough space here to explore questioning the thought. Oh, there's enough, I feel there's enough support. I feel, can you hold my hand, and I feel like maybe I can explore, get a little curious about this kind of crazy thing about how is awareness sad? Maybe awareness isn't sad. Maybe is sad. What are the qualities there? Oh, is there room for sadness? And then we have all these methods, the Tonglen meditation from the Buddhists, where we take in the suffering of the world, not just our own, even though we discover it is just our own. You know, and then discover there's enough space here for that. And it comes and goes not by anyone making it, just by its very nature.
When you say it's just when we discover just our own, can you explain that?
Yeah, well, we have this idea that there's a world out there. It's pretty popular. And of course, that stems from the uninvestigated assumption that you're a someone. To the degree that we imagine ourselves to be a someone, or to the degree that we practice the spiritual, because that's a practice too, that you're someone, to the degree that you practice that, religion is to the degree that you imagine there's other someones. If I'm something separate, then thought is something separate. If I'm something separate, then feeling is something separate. If I'm something separate, then you're something separate. Then that's something separate. Then that time is something separate. Then this thing is something separate. And when we're willing, whenever we're ready, no rushing ahead. And life shows us the way, even if we think we're rushing ahead. Don't we know how life is like, no, bitch, sit down. It's like be with those energies. Because sometimes we use spiritual strategy as another way to avoid, another way to indulge, another way. The mind will co-opt everything. There are fundamentalist Advaita Vedantists. There are fundamentalist Baptists, as we know. There's fundamentalist Buddha. The mind will take anything and turn it into its version of it. And it's like, my precious. And then we're, thumping Course in Miracle phrases at each other like if it's a Bible verse. I mean, it's fascinating how we do that. But yeah, we discover that, oh, wow, the world, only place it ever happened, and not even that. So grateful for, wow, we really, so yummy, so very yummy. Thank you all so very much. Yay. Thank you all so very much. Okay. I so appreciate what everyone's willingness to come up so authentically and honestly. We're all, how does Ram Dass say? We're all just walking each other home. And it's so true. Here we are with each other, with all of it. It's okay. It's good. It's good. Thank you all so much. You're welcome to leave a donation online, beloveds. The information is all there. If it resonates, you're welcome to leave a donation in that little thing right over there. And is there anything I wanted to promote? A course is coming up. I don't know what it's called yet, but an online Zoom study exploration. And I'm really having fun now that I'm learning all this wonderful knowledge about all these different archetypes and astrology. It's like, it's so wonderful to be like, how is this good for the air signs or for the fire signs, the water signs, the earth signs? So it's like fun I'm so grateful and excited to completely get it wrong and to totally fail. And it's so much fun to explore and to create this in that way. Because my double Gemini self's like, this is all for double Geminis. So yeah. So all my friends, you know who you are that have those certain qualities. I'm going to be picking your noggin.